Hello and welcome everyone to episode 7 of One Piece at a Time, the One Piece read-through podcast where we read and discuss 5 chapters of the One Piece manga each and every week. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined by my wonderful co-host and freelance letterer at Shonen Jump, Brandon Bovia. How you doing, Brandon?
How's it going, everybody? Ready to talk about this week's batch of chapters?
Yeah, it's I have thoughts. I was telling about this before we started. It is, I'd say, the most mixed bag of chapters I've encountered since we started.
Yeah.
There's a reason I barely ever remember this saga. It's like, oh right, when when Usopp got introduced, that's about it. Because, it's showing why it just doesn't work in a lot of ways, at least in my opinion, and maybe it'll improve, but this section...
Yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, this section didn't do a whole lot for me, but hey, you know what's exciting about this? This is our first recording after we've launched the podcast. We can finally start getting feedback and go based off of that. And actually, I didn't even bring this up to you. I just had a random thought to maybe do at some point as a sort of a nice little patron thing to do. Our very own SBS.
Oh, that would be fun.
Take a question each time, and I don't know, to answer something One Piece related or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that actually sounds like a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would do that at the beginning or at the end.
I'd say at the end, because that's what Oda kind of does after the chapter.
You know what? That's true.
So something to end it off on.
That's a great idea.
But, it'd be a while till we implemented that sort of thing. But again, we want to hear the feedback from this episode, whether you're not interested. But just let us know. And it'd be a nice little extra patron reward. No extra cost.
Yeah. I think it would be cool, since for folks following along, maybe even for the first time, we can kind of like incorporate their comments at the end and sort of have a little bit of a back and forth and see like how are the listeners feeling about this chunk of chapters.
Oh, that's also good.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how much we can integrate, because I don't want to make these podcasts too long. So
we'll see I think that's something that we could don't want to spend too much time on.
Yeah, I think an hour for a podcast is generally pretty good, but
it's the good length.
But let's go ahead and start with chapter 31, Truth. That's the honest to God truth. And, right away, we get the example of why Kuro is not as good of a planner as he says as he thinks he is. I don't know, but not even at that point. We just start at Kaya's, and she's having a nightmare where Usopp leading pirates and is like, you're making a fool of me, I'll kill you. And then she just like, no, I can't be like that. Why would he act like that? It's like,
this is kind of a weird thing to include from the jump. I gotta be honest.
I know. It's just that worry about Usopp after he's been fighting for so long. I mean, I think the only real purpose it serves, other than being like, oh, she's so conflicted, is to wake her up early. Because it is generally implied throughout this chapter that it is still very early in the morning.
That's true. Yeah, since this whole conflict started like at dawn, basically.
Yeah. I look at the sky above the mansion. It does not look... I obviously, it's black and white, so it's hard to convey that. But it doesn't... Yeah. It looks midday.
Yeah.
Or, 9 o'clock or something. It doesn't look that early, but we have to remember the implication that it is very much early in the day, and this nightmare caused her to wake up way earlier than she should have.
That makes sense.
And she actually gets out of bed to try to find Klahadore and comes across a murder scene, which, that looking at this room and seeing that scene, oh my God.
That page turn reveal, okay, for one, it's been a couple weeks since we last recorded, so I completely forgot that Mary just got completely messed up. So seeing that turn the page is like, oh right, that happened.
Yeah, right, Mary. Oh man,
just bleeding out.
Gotta say though, Mary's kind of a badass, because look at all the stuff on the walls, the stuff across his chest.
Yeah,
and the dude is like picking himself up, rolling himself over, and coughing up blood, and still just telling her, it's like, hey, get out of here. I mean, like, how is this dude not dead?
Here, and we were talking about this last time, or an episode or two ago, but this is sort of where we were like, to Klahadore, like, why were you telling him your plan? Like, you were doing this for 3 years. and couldn't even finish the job. So that Mary is still alive. He's like, Klahadore did it. And just like,
yeah,
this wouldn't.
It's so frustrating because he's like painted again as this really smart guy, and he just has this weird urge to kill. Doesn't even do it. He just horrifically maims this goat man, and immediately is just like, hey, Klahadore's a pirate.
Yeah.
It's just
this all could have been avoided if Kuro didn't do that because it was really stupid, or if he had just killed Mary, like just make sure you get the job done. Like it's just
yeah, I mean,
poking the holes in this plan is
a little bit.
Right, come on, guys.
And granted, if things had kept to the schedule that he had laid out, I think that the village would have already been destroyed. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah,
but loose ends and all that,
Yeah. Part of being like a master plan, and that's how they really tried to frame him as this, like he's the all according to Keikaku kind of guy. Like you gotta have backup plans. He had one plan, and it basically like fell apart like from the jump, and he's just like,
it's like, well, time to walk through town and figure out why this is not happening, and I'll just leave this body behind with the girl that I've been taking care of, who can, potentially foil this plan. Yep. But I mean, we'll get into Kuro's whole thing as we go throughout this, but we did get redemption for Usopp. He's like that. Yeah. We drove away. We forgot. We've defended the villain and drove away the brave young man who was ready to die to save the village.
Yeah, it hits good. I think it is sort of worth, like, if Mary had to be alive just so that, he could say, like, Usopp was right the whole time, then I guess that makes, like, it makes sense that it would be here, but...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We need to have that clearing of Usopp, especially in the eyes of Kaya.
Yeah, exactly. But I think just the way that it frames Kuro in comparison is just kind of makes him look really dumb.
It really does. And again, makes Mary really badass as he's talking. He's lifting himself up against the wall.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm impressed. Like that was the big takeaway from this is one, dumb Kuro plan. Two, Mary is amazing.
Yeah. Wow. He tanked it.
Yeah, he really did. But he does tell Kaya, yeah, if he's after your estate and fortune, let him have it. It's not worth risking it. Just take it because
true.
It's a good plan. Your fortune is not worth your life.
Indeed.
That's when we get Kaya's like, all right, I'm going to have to go talk with Klahadore and try to stop this. And we shift over to the kids who, is our best indication that it's still really early because Carrot's like, hey, I'm actually usually still asleep right now, but I think it's Onion is like, I think Usopp was lying about lying.
Slowly putting two and two together.
It's like, the liar lied about not lying. That's a bit of a mind twister, I guess.
Oh,
who knew? But that's when they see Kaya and like, oh, something bad must have happened. So it's sort of like when we were dealing with Buggy and we kept seeing the townspeople. It's like, all right, this other faction is sort of moving a bit more. That said, it definitely already feels like they have more to do than the townspeople.
Oh, yeah, yeah. They feel more, they're definitely way more connected to this sort of like ongoing plot.
Yeah. Commendations on that where like every piece you see moving feels like it truly matters.
Yeah, that's actually, I was thinking with some of the later content about how just like, I'm starting to see the seeds of like what a prototypical like One Piece arc is like. Mm-hmm. I didn't really think about this one, but you're right in how we sort, I mean, it's basically just like a B plot, but the ways in which we kind of have all of these separate moving parts going at the same time.
Yeah, and they all tie together. Like each one actually matters. It's one of the best parts of One Piece as it goes along, is where it's...
Yeah, Oda's really good at that.
Yeah, it never feels like any one character's truly wasted. Might change as it goes along. Yeah, I was going to say it might change as time goes on, but from what I remember of what I've experienced so far, that seems to be the case. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, time to return to the fight. We got a nice little recap where all the pirates are laid out. The mast is ripped off and Luffy's asleep underneath it. And it's time for the secret weapon of the Kuro pirates, the Meow Band brothers, which, they're kept in shadow, and they make this huge leap off the ship, and we get to see them. And
just from just on a basic fundamental level, these guys' designs are awful.
Yeah,
it's just the worst.
I mean, I think that's supposed to be the joke.
It's the point. Yeah, that's the joke.
Like, they have shoes that are shaped like paws, which is kind of amazing on its own.
Yeah,
claws on their hands.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, it really does. One guy's really fat. The other guy's a hunchback.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind Butchie's design. Like, it's fine enough.
Yeah.
Siam's design, I hate. Like,
yeah.
This guy is, I don't know. Like, you can see the hairy legs coming out, the short shorts, the hunchback. Yeah. Just everything about this design just feels...
It's a lot.
Wrong.
For sure.
A good reaction from Nami, though. Like, what are they? Like, even she...
Yeah, what are they? Yeah.
But yeah, it turns out this big secret weapon, everybody's saying, oh, you're dead now. It's like, oh, they're cowards.
Yeah, they're all freaking out.
Yeah, it's like, we're just ship guards. We can't do it. Django's like, no, Siam, attack him at once. Get at him. It's like, all right. And he's doing this ineffectual, like, I'll scratch you.
Yeah.
I'll get you. Does not hold that tension for long, though, because Zoro calls out and immediately shifts. And impressively goes for an immediate kill. Like, good on Zoro for that reaction time, because it does feel like that would have killed him.
He fell for the bit, though.
He really did. You would have thought he would have realized something was up with they're being positioned as this secret weapon.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
That is certainly it's an interesting tactic. These characters are kind of, I guess, they're kind of all about trickery, which is funny considering we have like Usopp involved.
Yeah.
But I don't know about this one.
Yeah, I don't know. We get that one guard, but the big thing here is that Siam actually manages to get Zoro's swords.
Yeah.
Which is effective. That is a different way to level the playing field for Zoro than just having him already injured.
And that's where the chapter ends.
Yeah, it's just sort of bam, that's it. Zoro lost his swords. These are the Meow Man. Yeah. We got the introduction of the Meow Band brothers. And again, it's where I immediately started thinking, is like, that's it. That's
that's kind of it. I do sort of appreciate, like, this is pretty much goes for the series as a whole, that like, it feels like the story is intensely aware that Zoro at full power is basically unstoppable. So he always has to get into a fight somehow, nerfed. Be it taking a brutal wound or like somebody stealing his swords. Like he can't be at full health or have all of his tools.
No, you have to introduce really powerful people in order to make that happen. But not happening yet.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I felt really underwhelmed by this chapter.
Me too. For sure. The one thing I'll say, and we've been saying for a while, is that the pacing of the story is faster than we remember, because I remember the Meowband stuff dragged.
Oh yeah, they really drag out the Meowband brothers and just
so my favorite part about this is that it's over pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's true. It feels like the fight with Meowband brothers goes a lot longer, even just the setup.
Before we move on, I do want to address just this one little bit from the SBS at the end of the chapter, where one of the readers asks if the design on Clawhador's suit is it looks like poop. Is it poop, or is there other significance? And Oda just says it's poop. That
made me so happy. You have no idea, because I had no idea that was a thing. That actually answers that question.
And hey, you know what? Seemingly no further significance, but we talked about it before. We were like, is that what we think it is? So good to have confirmation.
I don't know I doubt the Japanese version does this, but they do constantly call him a butler with the kids.
Yeah. Maybe there's a connection there.
Maybe. The other big question they have for this one is kind of a skit where somebody asked about Nami's measurements. The way it's phrased too.
This kind of thing happens a lot.
Nami's measurements. Seriously, please tell me. And he's just like actually talking with Nami. And she's like, I don't want you measuring me, but it'll cost you. And he actually tries to go for it. It's like, what?
Gets bonked. multiple times.
I love how he's like, wait for me, I'll get her measurements. And I'm not sure how aware people are of like modern One Piece designs. Don't want to spoil it too much, but Nami changes a lot.
Yeah, she does.
That's going to be a point of discussion as we get to it.
I do appreciate the SBS also tend to feature like the characters in character. That is something I remember happening a lot. Is that like he'll just write one of the characters into the scenario and be like, "Hey, what's going on here?"
It is quite fun.
Yeah.
All right. Chapter 32, Cruel Fortune. And it's basically just reacting to the fact that Zoro got his swords taken. I will say the one thing I really like about this is that they emphasize as Siam throws him away, it emphasizes right in the foreground Kuina's sword.
Oh yeah.
Like
Zoro is pissed.
Oh yeah. That twitch, the vein popping out. That's good stuff.
He's not happy about
Nothing's
that.
mentioned. He doesn't go Kuina's sword. It's just
Yeah. It's just you know. And that it's like it's enough information. You know enough about Zoro's character that he doesn't have to say anything, but it's just enough to piss him off.
Exactly. And it piss him off. It does. He goes for it and cuts through most of Siam. Like it is just like, and all of a sudden he's back. Gets on top of Zoro's back, and it's revealed that he is wearing a really baggy shirt.
I hate this design even more now.
It's okay. I will say this is the most clever part of Siam.
Yeah. If we have to have this like just disgusting trickster character, then the commitment to like, okay, even the clothes that you're wearing aren't what you think that they are. Like that, it's cool. Just from a visual standpoint, I'm just like,
yeah, exactly. It works. You get to see the power, like with the abs this guy is rocking. You get the sense of the power behind him, but then get to see the teamwork aspect where we get from Butchie the cat strike, catapult, catastrophe.
That's a lot of cat puns.
Yeah, it is, and it's basically just a big old jump that Zoro barely manages to escape, and it cracks the earth. And this is with him not even being enhanced at this point.
Yeah.
So Zoro escapes, and they're like, "Oh wow, we underestimated him. He's actually stronger than we thought."
I don't like that panel of Siam where he's just like, he got away, and his back is just like lurching.
I know. Why is he a hunchback? It's weird. I mean, not to say they can't exist or anything like that, but what makes a hunchback
just the way that it's drawn? Just I'll never get over how uncomfortable it makes me.
It makes me want to like roll out my shoulders and whatnot. It's like, no good. Definitely got some early translations in here, it feels like, because it's like, whew, I can't imagine Zoro saying this. It's like, I was close. This is serious. If he gets me with those cat whammies, I'll be a pirate flavored pancake.
Wow, you're almost a Zoro sandwich.
Yeah.
It's real. Yeah. It gets better, but there's some choices being made here.
Yeah, even earlier, like when Zoro's dodging, he's saying "curse ye."
Yeah, curse ye. It feels really out of character.
Yeah, the piratisms. I do wonder when they'll stop.
They definitely sort of bring that back a bit as it goes.
Oh, geez. Oh. We'll see.
Oh, no. I mean, they bring it in.
They stop. Like I thought it goes away for a while, and then somebody else decides, like, no, we want those back.
Oh no. Yeah. Everybody stops speaking like pirates after a certain point. I couldn't tell you when, but I remember it being fairly early.
Right. I'm gonna guess it's probably sometime around Funimation getting the license. We'll see. But then we got the team up attack, the Pussy Willow March, where it's just a bunch of claw strikes that Zoro has to try to block, and is getting pushed back because of this.
The fact that he's just with one sword, like,
yeah, it's definitely, it feels weird to see, like, even this early, to see Zoro only using one sword.
Yeah,
and now he realizes, like, he can't do it. He's giving ground. We gotta help him. So Usopp bringing out the support, sending out one of his, I don't know, just lead bullets, I guess. Actually, that is another thing. Did he have a lot more trick bullets in the anime at this point?
I don't remember. I don't think quite yet, but it's definitely been a while.
Did, because I maybe I'm wrong, but it just felt like that. But yeah, he uses this lead bullet, and Zoro spots it And it was about to hit Butchie, but Zoro specifically puts himself in the way.
I really like this moment.
It did, because it disarmed me in a way, because I'm like, I thought it was going to be the, hey, these are my opponents, don't step in. That typical thing. But no, we find out it's actually, hey, don't attack them. You're not strong enough to handle them. And if you attack them, they'll attack you.
Yeah. And it's cool because this is specifically probably because he only has one sword. So that, like, you know, if they got around him, he wouldn't be able to block him in time.
Exactly. And
it made complete sense to me.
Now we got injured Zoro. Again, that's a good moment. We just hear him, see Zoro thinking, like, man, if I just had another sword, because I'm terrible at just one sword style. And that's when we see Nami kind of picking up on that thought and realizing, like, oh, I can help. We get to see Nami's contribution to this whole thing, where she makes a mad dash for his swords and cut on the shoulder thanks to Django because of her troubles.
It stings.
Yeah, it does. It looks painful because it's just so casual. Also, it's just, I can't help reading it of the Soup Nazi voice when I see his line there. No swords for you.
I mean, no swords for you. Yep.
So weird.
That's fun. But things kind of go from bad to worse on the next page.
It does. Like, it actually caught me off guard. I will say that there's some really good flips for One Piece so far, where he saves the big reveals, where it's like, oh man, Nami's down. It's looking really bad, and then all of a sudden we see Django freaking out. And he just tries to keep making excuses, and the Malban brothers are scared, and great panel of Kuro.
Yeah, that black and white with the poop logo just front and center.
That is
so good.
A really good panel that just shows the threat.
Yeah, he's not happy.
No. I mean, he's even invoking the name of Neptune. My God.
Yeah. What in Neptune's name's going on? Yeah, I definitely love those all those, like, just the lines and the veins on his face as he's just like, what has been going on here?
It's some great sense of detail. And yeah, that's technically the end of the chapter. We're left with just a breakdown of our characters. Zoro's on the back foot with one sword. Usopp is bleeding out a lot. Nami's on the ground bleeding, and Luffy's asleep again. Still asleep.
He's just out.
Yep, that's it for him. But we're back to the SBS. We're done with this one, and get this, nothing too crazy other than like explaining a cameo that somebody spotted and kind of explaining Zoro's Haramaki sash, but basically just think it's cool. That's basically what it comes down to.
Apologize, dismissed, he says.
Yeah, exactly. There's a fun sense with these SBS questions, and he
has fun with them.
Another short chapter, a bit better, but I'm sorry, the fight with the Meowman brothers is not interesting.
It's not. I think chapter 33 is where it starts to pick up a little bit. Now that we have Kuro here, it kind of adds an interesting twist into the encounter.
Yeah, absolutely. So thankfully for that. But yes, chapter 33, The Creeping Cat. It's just Django kind of in disbelief, like, really? These children are holding you up, Django. Yeah. Django immediately tries to bring it back on. It's like, you said it didn't matter if we let him go. That's what you said. It's like, I'm right. Because it shouldn't have been a problem. Anyone could predict that he'd try to thwart us, but I didn't expect your defenses to be so crap.
Yeah, it's just, man, you guys suck.
Yeah, exactly. This plan I set up is going perfectly. This is all your screw-ups. Not my fault. Not my fault.
Well, maybe a little not willing to accept responsibility for your own crappy plan, but you know what?
Yeah, you do. You do.
And it's also like, this is your pirate crew, man. Like, you trusted them to get the job done, so
yeah,
it's kind of on you. I don't know. Yeah,
didn't account for it, but there you are. But I mean, that said, the insult here does sort of wake the Meowban brothers from their feared stupor, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well, maybe you were strong, but it's been 3 years, and we've been fighting and killing and staying strong, and you've been just living the high life in a fancy mansion. So, you know what? Mutiny."
Yeah, I actually completely forgot about this part, like that there was even a dynamic where they were, and it makes sense too. I mean, I feel like I've been saying that this whole arc of just like, I mean, he's been away from the pirate crew for years, so like, you know, not necessarily much of a captain, and you know, it would make sense that there would be crew members who were kind of like, man, what are we doing here? Like, we're working for this guy who's old and busted.
Like, why should we bother?
They have a role to play here by like trying to defect, or at least like to show that they're superior to him now.
Yeah, and good. Honestly, that panel where they're saying like, when they're doing the attack, they have their faces. That's the best they've ever looked. I will say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are good. Those are good faces.
Finally look threatening.
Yeah, and even the other pirates are like, you know what? They're kind of right. And hey, you're gonna kill us. We're gonna try to kill you first.
Yeah.
All they succeed in doing is getting rid of the bag that he has, and we finally see what exactly Kuro did to Mary when the room got all clawed up.
Yeah.
And he has his
Nothing
own
personal, kid. It teleports behind you.
Yeah, exactly. Just bam, behind, and it's I love every aspect of this is ridiculous. One,
yes,
that bag was holding claws that go on his hand that each have basically sword length blades for him to wear, which has to be unwieldy as all get out.
So I really like this moment here where Kuro is like, he gets behind the Meowbound brothers and he just has them over the shoulder. I think that's a really cool way to sell how fast he is.
Absolutely.
And he's got his blades pointed at their necks. Like it's a cool visual.
It is. It finally sells it. Like, yeah, he messed up Mary, but you didn't see anything. It's like you felt like he was a bad guy and he's this planner, but to see him actually in action, just casually pointing his thumbs at these guys, It's like, I have gotten soft. I would have killed you back in the day, but I'll let you live and prove yourselves to me.
Yeah. In the context of this, I think him saying like, I've gotten soft, I'll let you live, you got 5 minutes, makes more sense than him like sort of not killing Mary.
This makes sense because you still need them to get the job done. And your other crew is already laid out. So like you kind of need these people to get some damage done. And we even get this little explanation here from Django saying, you could gather 50 assassins and they'd all be dead before they knew he was near. So it finally explains why they're so scared.
It's such a cool explanation for something called the Pussyfoot movement.
I know. I do love this. And you had pointed out in a previous one, because I noticed it myself remembering this part.
Yeah.
That explanation for that strange way that he always lifted his glasses back up was because so he never cut himself with his own swords.
Yeah. I think it's a really cool, like, the way that Oda is able to like make something that is it's like a goofy part of his character, but actually has like kind of a deeper meaning behind it. I love stuff like that.
Yeah, that one point probably stands out more than most anything else in this.
Yeah, it's basically the one thing I remember Kuro for is the way that he lifts his glasses back up with his palm, and that it's so intrinsically tied to like his gimmick basically. Like, yeah, it's cool.
It works really well, and I don't know why, but the next shot where he says, "I'm gonna kill every last one of you with my own hands," that is a gorgeous shot.
Yeah. I love like the way the perspective.
Yeah,
it's cool.
You get to see the size. Like it conveys the size of this whole battleground much better than anything we've seen up to this point. Like how wide it is, where everybody is placed in relation to each other. It works so well.
Yeah, and it's intimidating too because it's like Kuro's like looking down on you basically.
Yeah. Like they all have to look up at him, and as the reader, you can even get that sense, like the feeling of power.
Yeah.
It's a good perspective.
Yeah, it's maybe I hadn't really felt any particular way about like the setting for where this battle is taking place. It's a bunch of rocks by the beach, but this particular framing of it on the hill, like I think makes it work really well.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, that reinvigorates that 5-minute time limit. Definitely reinvigorates the Meowband brothers. Like, well,
this is not Frieza's 5 minutes, everybody.
No, this is definitely not
real
Frieza's
5 minutes.
The time works theoretically the way it should. I don't remember any examples of time not working the way it should in One Piece.
At least in the manga.
Yeah, but they're out for it. They're ready. And Nami finally takes the opportunity to kick the swords towards Zoro. And his first thought was like, "You kicked my swords?"
Yeah. It's a fun little interaction between the two of them.
It is. The sort of antagonistic thing is like, what? No, thank you? Oh, yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And
Nami's kind of the secret MVP here in this fight.
Kind of is. Like, gets in close to Django. Django's an idiot for not really doing much and not paying attention to her.
And she's still bleeding out at this point.
Yeah. Django does kind of come across the most ineffectual here, where he has the blades, and his whole thing is, like, he's a support member.
Yeah.
That's kind of all it is. But, yeah, now we get to see why we got to put Zoro at a disadvantage for most times.
Yep.
Because he's like, yeah, you might be being before, but now that I got the three sword techniques, it's very different. And we get to see the tiger hunt. Great name for
pose
this.
he does for the build up is good.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Is that a kanji, or is it just a pose?
I think it's just a pose.
Okay.
I could be wrong. I might have to look that up later.
Yeah. But man, good name, and just seeing him cut through both of them at once.
Giving that a whole page is it's the best.
It is gorgeous, and just another good. I will commend Kuro for this as well. Everybody else is freaking out. Like, Django's sort of just dumbstruck. The pirates are doing the whole wide mouth thing. Kuro just looks pissed. He's like, "You've got to be kidding me with this."
Yeah, that's a good expression.
Yeah, it's what makes him so different from the villains before, where they were all kind of goofy, and, like, Morgan freaked out, Buggy freaked out.
Yeah,
Kuro does not freak out. I will give him
unfazed.
That.
Yeah, he's cold. And then just the on the next page, just like Zoro pointing to Kuro with a sword. I love it.
Oh, it looks so good. It's like Zoro challenging Kuro, and just Kuro's not even impressed. Try it. That is.
Won't even take 5 minutes to trash you all.
But yeah, then we get to see Django with his support abilities. He's like, we get the explanation. All that blubber saved him from being taken out. So Siam is down, but Butchie, and the fact that he has so much blubber, that was it. But he gets hypnotized into being that powerhouse like before with Django. I gotta say that, like, let's be honest, Butchie is the better of the two.
Yeah.
That does look threatening. And that's when Nami realizes, okay, we gotta get Luffy. He has to wake up.
It's like, all right, we had enough of this. Time for the real fight.
Exactly. And she wakes him up by stepping on his face.
Stepping on him. Yep. I love this little sequence of events here where Django throws his chakram thing. Nami steps on Luffy's face to wake him up. Zoro yelling out to Nami to hit the deck. And that's where the chapter ends.
Yeah, exactly. That's the part. That's a good. It's a nice little bit of comedy, and then, like, the real threat of, like, oh god, it's coming right at Nami.
Yeah. I guess we'll get into it with the next chapter, but the sequence of events here that plays out, I think, is really good.
And a better chapter again. Finally seeing
having Kuro here helps a lot.
Oh, it does. It puts a fire under everybody, and really
there's tension.
The SBS ones, actually, it's like, well, we just recently had a birthday, because we find out January 1st, 1975 is Oda's birthday.
Oh, wow. I actually did not know that.
Yeah, so let's see. It's 25. He's almost 50. He's 3 years, 47.
My
this
God.
Year. So,
and still going.
I know. God, he's only, that's insane to me. He's only like 11 or so years older than me.
Yeah. It just, imagine dedicating so much of your life to this.
I know. It's insane.
I'm just impressed.
Because looking at it's late 90s, so yeah, he's like mid 20s at this point, or just early 20s, honestly.
Yeah, that's absurd.
The rest of it is just like, why did you become a manga artist? And those type of fun questions. That said, I do love the tease. How many kinds of devil fruit are there, and what kinds are going to show up in the future?
A lot.
Yeah, it's like, I heard the rumor there were over 100, and certain locations crawling with people that have that.
Oh.
I love those teases. It's good stuff.
I do.
But that brings us to chapter 34, A Humble Servant. And yeah, it just begins with, hey, Nami stepping on Luffy's face, which is just so patently ridiculous that I love it.
Yeah.
But
he's just all squished.
He just looks upset too. Yeah. And that chakram's still coming at her. It's like, oh no. But Luffy stands up and takes the
hit.
Takes the hit to the back of his head. Just down he goes. It's like, oh, he's still alive? It's like, what lousy timing? Well, maybe not so lousy. Like, they're all kind of amazed. Like, he's still alive, even though he's clearly just gotten a chakram to the back of the head. It looks like it went in pretty deep.
Yeah. Like, that looks painful. And then he's just like, there's all this build up to, like, his reaction. Zoro's like, it looks like. And then he's just like, ow!
Yeah. I love the power, the stomp to stop himself from falling over. And then the next one where he just rips it out.
Oh.
And this...
God.
This moment is so much bigger than I thought at the time. Like really thinking about this scene. This tells so much more to the reader that they might not pick up on right away. Mm-hmm. Luffy's strength is not just because of the devil fruit.
Yeah.
that is the big thing here. It's like this man can take a chakram thrown by this man to the back of the head.
Yeah.
And just go, ow. That hurt.
I think we established before that he can deflect bullets, but like cutting weapons still kind of hurt him.
Yeah.
And so like he's bleeding, so like he's obviously, like that cut, he's hurt.
Yeah.
But the fact that, he's not dead. He's just like, ow.
He's just yelling. Upset and
he's upset more than pain.
It's like that hurt, and he's just screaming at Nami. And then he just like, that's when he finally realizes, like, oh, your shoulder's bleeding. And she's just like, hey, I've done all I can. Leave the rest to you. This is a fight we got to win. There's a lot of treasure on the line. I love it's so good. It's like, there's one fight we got to win because of the treasure. Screw the village.
Same old Nami. Very satisfying to see Luffy back in action. And just, I love a good, the hero shows up to save the day kind of moment.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the arc really starts to pick up for me.
I agree. And another thing I just noticed with that next page down below, we get to see the opposite, where Luffy's at the bottom, and you can see Kuro just as a dot up top.
Yeah. The way that he's been just framing this little hill is just it's real powerful.
Gets a lot out of it.
Establishing the characters.
And that's when we learned only 2 minutes have passed. That's how quick everything's been happening.
Oh, yeah, the dumb little thing I wanted to point out earlier is just the fact that he has a watch.
I know, he does have a watch underneath there.
Yeah, and just like how unwieldy that would be with his giant claw sword things.
It is patently ridiculous.
Yeah.
Amazing. Django's like, all right, I'll take the straw hat. You take care of Zoro. And then Kaya shows up.
And there's that hill again.
Yeah.
There's that shot, and Kaya is framed even higher above Kuro.
The angel descends. It's a good pose too for her. Just sort of like it's kind of crazy, and I love the immediate panic from Usopp. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. This is sort of like the one place where she really shouldn't be.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh hey, we just need to kill her, right? Sweet.
Yeah.
This is nice and convenient.
Speaking of convenient.
I mean, Kuro admits it. He's like, oh, I thought I killed him. And that's when she's like immediately realizes, yeah, this isn't Claudor. That was a lie.
Man, he's so upset about his crew not being able to get the job done, but he can't land a single kill. I don't buy it.
I mean,
I thought if he had not killed him on purpose to be I'm so confident in my plan and I've grown soft over the years. But no, he's just like, I thought I killed him. Like, no, dude. Get in there.
Yeah, you'd think double tap or something.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I can't believe it. You'd think he'd be more effective. We saw how sharp those things are. They dug in easily to the Meow Band brothers. This shouldn't have been a problem, but
yeah.
I'm
sorry that I keep dwelling on this. I'm just like, come on, dude.
I know it's just a big flaw in the whole mystique of Kuro.
Yeah,
the dude has presence. It's just his plan sucks.
Yeah, he needs a manager.
Yeah, really does. But we got a nice quick apology from Kaya, and I love how Usopp is just like, it's fine, but why'd you come here? Go. Leave. Usopp's already lying like, I'm a brave warrior of the sea. That's why we got to do this. It's like, and this is a pretty decent scene where she's like, hey, you want my fortune? I'll give it to you. Just take it and leave. And this is where we kind of get more of like what Kuro's all about, why he did this for 3 years, which we kind of already heard before, but it's the fact that he wants peace of mind. He can relax, and he wants the ability to just take it easy and enjoy the wealth. I mean, I'm not sure how he's going to fully enjoy that if he kills the entire village. He just basically has the island to himself, it seems, but there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this is kind of like the typical villain speech sort of thing, but I guess I don't know. I feel kind of mixed about it, but it makes sense. This wouldn't be resolved just because she signs away her fortune. Like, he's enough of a psychopath to be like, no, I want your money, but like, I need you to die for my mental health. Yeah,
you need to die so I can take it easy. I don't want to just take all of this and run. What's the point of that?
Yeah,
I could have just sacked the village and done it anyway. Which to that, he has a point. Like
very
the
true.
Plan itself is fine. It's just his execution at the last hour sucks.
Yeah. And then here's another bit that I forgot about, but yeah, Kaya just like straight up pulls out the Glock.
Yeah, she's ready to take him down. Obviously, we know this is not going to do anything.
Yeah, but she's had enough of this crap.
And it doesn't even faze him. That's the part here, is that he just immediately starts manipulating her. Basically, he's like, you and I spent a lot of time together. We sailed, took trips into town. I stayed by your bedside. I suffered with you. I laughed with you. I was your humble servant. I humored you in your silly dreams. I endured it all so I could kill you. Which, that is emotionally devastating.
Yeah, that again, I'm a sucker for the page turns in One Piece, and just like that going from I endured it page flip to kill you, and just like that zoom in, that close up it's great.
Mm-hmm. And just he knows, like, let's be honest, the way they've described this pussyfoot technique, he could dodge that bullet. She shot him. Yeah. He could easily dodge it. There's no way she was ever going to do anything. But I love the reaction to Usopp. Usopp.
He goes, and that's such a good drawing. Mm-hmm. Just him just instantly like trying to go for it.
It's gorgeously done. Just Kuro continually talking about his humiliation, and that's just enough for Usopp to go in and try to do a punch, and Kuro again lording it over. It's like, oh yeah, I still owe you for hitting me. And again,
and then another page turn. Pow. Yeah, just boom.
It's like out of nowhere, just getting socked in the mouth. And the love so Luffy.
Good. And even Usopp is like, what?
Mm-hmm. And I also like the fact that, like, you kind of get the sense that Luffy was kind of upset hearing about all this too, because the veins in his arms.
Oh yeah. He's ready for a fight. He's pissed.
Yeah. If you don't like getting hit, I'll punch you 100 times more. And what a good way to end that chapter.
That's a good one-liner.
Yeah, it is just it's the setup for finally the showdown that we want to see.
It's very satisfying.
And then the next page, rather than SBS, it's reader suggestions, and basically, like, it's the idea of having a way to show off fan art. With everybody, which is kind of fun.
Which they still do, I'm pretty sure.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and there are a number of, like, I think the artist for My Hero Academia got one of his drawings put in there.
I believe so.
Years before he went pro, and there's a whole bunch of other like manga artists who submitted something.
That is so cool.
Just like seeing them as like middle school kids or high school kids and being like, I made it pro.
I guess Americans got it as well, because Shonen Jump does have the PO box to send it over to Oda.
Yeah, I think at least for like the American Shonen Jump magazine, I think they also printed fan art as well from American readers, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. It's sort of like how with Mega Man 6 they opened it up to Nintendo Power people and two designs made it in. When usually it was just Japan. So good stuff. But yeah, that brings us to chapter 35, The Steep Slope. But before we even get to the chapter, I've been waiting for this moment for so long, and I'm so happy we can finally introduce it. It's only just now happening, and we don't fully have an explanation. So we'll get into it more next time. But we see the return of Buggy and what Buggy's up to with this title page. Rather than the characters hanging out with animals and doing their own, all their different things, we get Buggy in his short form escaping from piranhas, including one with an eye patch.
Yeah. Because I think like the rest of his I don't know if they like where the rest of his body is, or if it got
don't know.
Is it still in that town, or did it get yeeted with the rest of them? But yeah, he's just a head and arms and feet and just rowing on a little like sailboat. Mm-hmm. It's great.
The cool thing about this is that it's actually, if you didn't know any better, like we'll obviously see next time for the next chapter. But if you didn't know any better, it would just seem like a random one-off that still fits the animal theme that they've been going for. It just happens to star Buggy this time.
Yeah. Oda often likes to use the title, the chapter covers to like show what's going on in other parts of the world with other characters. Mm-hmm. So you kind of usually I feel like often with the villains or some of the side characters or just, you know, what have they been doing since they got beat? Or,
what's happened since then? And we'll get into that more as we go along. This is just sort of a tease.
Yeah, and they feed into the main story too. And there's stuff that gets foreshadowed in these, which is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, let's jump into the actual story itself, where everybody's just sort of amazed at the fact that Luffy just punched Kuro.
I kind of forgot that they don't know that he has a devil fruit. Like they haven't known this whole time.
No, not at all. They're like he survived somehow. That's all we know.
Yeah.
But this one, I gotta really commend the sound effects. We got the doom again, and then there's just low rumbling, the grr, the ooh, that's just all over Kuro, where he's not even reacting to it. He's just laid out flat and just looking upset, and Luffy just cracking his knuckles.
Yeah,
and then the absolutely most ridiculous thing ever happens.
Yeah, we have the little kids coming in.
The kids showing up, and they're gonna pound him with a shovel, an oar, and a frying pan, and just scream out revenge as they beat him in the face.
Yeah.
Oh
my favorite part of this whole thing, sorry if I'm skipping ahead a couple pages, where he just, because they're all basically giving him a beating and everybody reacts to it, but Kuro just like, he gets up and he does, he pushes his glasses up and then they just break.
Yeah,
and
they shatter down.
And he doesn't say anything, and he's just I love it. And then he gets back up and they're all screaming. All the kids are screaming.
It is a good bit. And it just shows how beneath him they are, where he gets up, doesn't say a word. It's just a very contemplative look.
Yep.
Just seems completely focused on Luffy, but still takes the time to kick Usopp as he walks past him.
Yeah. Kick him while he's down.
It just sort of looks at Luffy like, that's an unusual ability.
These moments are my favorite parts of Kuro.
Yeah.
Just like you kind of, he doesn't say anything, but you know what's running through his head right now. And just sort of the silent anger is something I'm super into.
Mm-hmm. This is him and his most effective, I think. He has good posing. I don't know if I ever consider him would you consider him more or less of a threat than Buggy?
Maybe more, but Buggy definitely, like, he has like his cannons and stuff, and he's a true blue in the action kind of pirate. So like you see him devastate like a whole town with his buggy balls, but there's something more intimidating about just like the silent anger. And that's something I really appreciate about Kuro. Like he got, just like thwacked by a bunch of kids, and it's like he just is like, oh, okay, that's weird. Your power, doesn't dwell on it. So he's not like yelling at the kids or anything. Like he's just
he's not Buggy who got distracted by Nami trying to take his treasure.
Yeah,
it's just he is laser focused on his goal, and that's its own sort of thing. It's been fun to, again, I've liked to trace the trajectory of our villains, and we're back to no devil fruit, but still showing that normal people can be powerful even without them.
Yeah, like they're still a threat.
Yeah,
and you have abilities like his pussyfoot maneuver that don't make any sort of like actual sense, but they're not a devil fruit. It's just something he can do.
Yeah, it's a shonen. Granted, we have Zoro with 3 swords, so
yeah, exactly.
But that's enough for him to I'm gonna take out Luffy after Luffy of course announces he's a gum man. It's like, all right, I will kill the Gum Gum Man, Django, force her to write the will, and then kill her. And, kill the kids too. And then sack the village. Let's start. Yeah. It's time to start laying waste.
Yeah, everybody's sort of splitting off into their 1v1s. That's when we're kind of in the meat of things now, in the heat of things.
Mm-hmm. It was actually kind of interesting to see everybody kind of congested in one spot for this long. But we got Zoro stepping up to all right, you're not passing me. And oh right, forgot about Butchie.
Yeah, he's still hypnotized.
And you can definitely see the change in power where he just devastates the land, rocks going up. I love how even Zoro seems like he kind of forgot about him because oh geez, not that again.
Yeah, he's just off to the side, ah. And I love that all of the panels that are dedicated to showing off just how much of the rocks have just been completely crushed.
It looks like the rocks are about to fall into the pirate crew.
Yeah, seriously.
I love the ridiculousness of it. Of Zoro blocking with that one sword, boot in his face, and still powerful enough to kick him away despite that power up.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it. He had his foot in his face the first time. That is such a good pose.
Yeah, it really is. It shows the desperation quite well. Ups the challenge for Zoro, despite, he has a bit of wounds, but not as bad as we've seen in the last arc. But again, the focus is more on Usopp. It's oh God, I gotta stop that guy, but I'm too dizzy. So he tells the kids, Usopp's pirates. They don't want to run, but it's hey, protect Kaya.
You have the most important job of all.
Get her away from here, so don't let me down. I love Zoro sort of thinking, it's smart. He gave the kids and Kaya an honorable reason to run.
Yeah, it's that acknowledgement.
Yeah, it recognizes Usopp's strengths. This is not a new person that is super powerful, but he's quick-witted.
Yeah. I don't know if I would have thought about it in that way, but I'm glad that we have Zoro here kind of pointing that out about it.
Yeah, I don't think I would have picked up on that myself because I was well, naturally they want to get out of there. But, we do have the lines from the kids we're not running. So that helps, I think, to just emphasize it.
Yeah.
And then, oh, God, Django just completely still being
Dude's been taking L's the whole arc.
He is, other than powering up other people, he kind of sucks because he's ready to take out the kids. And not Zoro, but Usopp hits him with his lethal stars to the back. Seems to be implied to the butt or the back. I'm not sure, but that is a pretty fun face that Django makes in the bottom right panel.
Yeah, it looks like it hurt.
The kids lead Kaya away. Kuro's I know how frail she is. She's not getting away from Django. But first, now it's reversed. Now you have to get past me. So we got Luffy and Zoro versus Butchie and Kuro, and that's it. That's where we're left.
Yeah, I definitely like the It's a really simple thing, but the way that the setting of the hill is being used in a it's kind of showing who has the advantage at what point in time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The things have kind of flipped now, and you can sort of see this as this is the moment in the story where Zoro and Luffy are kind of maybe not on the back foot quite as much, but they're lower down. They're on the disadvantage compared to where they need to be.
Yeah,
which is the reverse of where it was before.
Exactly. We got a super powered person and the super fast person for them to face, and I'm curious how the battle's going to go. I really am.
We're pretty much just going to be straight into it next week. I imagine if the fight doesn't resolve, we'll just be we'll probably get pretty close to it. Yeah, yeah. So it's just going to be all fights.
It's funny because I remember the Kaya stuff that happens from this point. I don't remember anything about Zoro's fight with Butchie from this point or Luffy's fight with Kuro.
Yeah, I sort of remember Luffy and Kuro, but I don't remember what Zoro does at all.
No, it's not so good. But hey, advantage of the Shonen Jump app that you may not have thought of. We got the coloring corner. You don't have to color in your book anymore. Print it out and color it yourself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. But yeah, you don't have to ruin your precious Shonen Jump volume anymore.
Yeah, that's perfect. And
that's great.
That's it for this set of chapters. And again, It started out really weak, but I did, and I think that colored me because I forgot how strong Kuro showing up was.
Yeah, I think that is the turning point, because you got Kuro coming in, you got Kaya coming in, you kind of have all of these different characters and all of their different motivations all kind of like clashing with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is far more interesting than the Meow Band brothers.
All of a sudden, the stakes are there and a lot more clear.
Yeah,
and it's not so nebulous anymore. It's not the ridiculous of like Luffy lost or Zoro lost and dealing with the stuff. I don't know. It's just it feels like it's reached a cohesive whole, and I appreciate that.
We got there in the end, which is I think maybe something that is that's not something I normally appreciate whenever I revisit this arc. Like I just kind of think it's it's sort of whatever, it's sort of fine, but like it gets there, which is important. Like it feels like the proper climax. Like I think I'm gonna enjoy the ending a lot more this time around because of that.
I think so.
Even if the buildup is a little shaky,
it should stick the landing. At least I hope.
Here's hoping so.
Fingers crossed.
Well, I feel like even the worst One Piece arcs tend to stick the landing.
Yeah,
which is really important for how you view them in hindsight.
That is a very good point. So yeah, we'll see how it all plays out next time. But with that, I believe we've said all we've wanted to say about chapters 31 to 35 of One Piece. Thank you so much for listening, and you can find more of my ramblings and stream VODs over at BitNerd Games on YouTube, or BitNerd with an underscore at the end on Twitter. Brandon, where can they find you at?
I'm on Twitter at Brandon Bovia. Real easy to find. I'm talking about manga, whether it be for my job or otherwise, games, anime, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I might be planning something exciting in the future. If you want to see more of me out there, I'll leave that tease because I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to commit to it yet. But
I don't even know this, so that is exciting. Ooh, do tell. We'll see what we'll see what the future brings, but definitely follow this man. He is wonderful.
Yes, please and thank you.
And if you'd like to help us out more, you can support the podcast over at patreon.com/Derek Bittner. That's DERRICKBITNER. I have a strange spelling for my name. To listen to the next episode 3 days early. And make sure to return next time as we discuss chapters 36 to 40 of One Piece. Until then, my friends, bye.
Remember to take life one piece at a time.
Ooh, that's good.
Stole it from Daniel.
More than anything else, what I want is peace.
You want peace?
Yes, just peace. Peace of mind.